Hey everybody, Chris with Killer Arcade Games here. I'm back with another arcade walkthrough. This time we're walking through the Dallas Cidercade. This concludes all of the Cidercades that are currently open. I've finally walked through all of them with video, but they'll be opening a new one soon in Fort Worth, so hopefully I'll be able to go there and do the same thing again. This one is their original location. It has some pretty interesting games, some emulated games, some cabinets that aren't really arcade cabinets that have been turned into arcade cabinets. What I usually do with these walkthroughs is I play an uninterrupted walkthrough first, where you can just watch me go through the place, and then if you're only there for that, you can leave after that, but if you want to hang out, we'll do another walkthrough. I'll play the video again, but this time I'll sit here and talk a little bit about my experience there, talk about a few of the games that I found interesting, and yeah, so that's how these work. If you're interested, stick around after the walkthrough. We'll do it all again. I'll leave timestamps in the description. And here we go. Let's do the regular walkthrough first. Alright, so it's not the biggest Cidercade location, but it's an interesting building. It's where they do, I think it's where they make most of their cider there, it looks like, from what I can tell. But let's dive right into it. Let's go back through the walkthrough. I want to show you guys a few games in particular. One of them being this Crash Bandicoot. You may have seen this already. The Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. I saw this and was kind of baffled by it. First, we have Fix-It Felix Jr. right there, but this one kind of took my attention. I'm going to let it play a little bit and let's get closer to it. Look at this thing. I think I thought I spent a little more time on it. But anyway, if you look at the top, it's actually running Windows up there. And I just think it's a really interesting cabinet. I assume it's just running Windows and you can play it like an arcade. Even the control deck said the L2, the X, the triangle, all the PlayStation buttons. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, it's cool they did it, but it's just interesting. I don't know if they did this themselves or if they bought this like this. But I played a little of it. The only problem I have with running console games, not the only problem, but one of the problems I have with running console games in an arcade cabinet or arcade environment is once somebody starts a game, it gets stuck there. So as somebody walks back up, they're not going to really have any idea what's going on. It doesn't it never takes itself back to the main menu and kind of reset itself so you can get a fresh start. That's one of the issues I have with having console games in arcades, but it's on free play, so it's not that big a deal. I don't think you can legally charge quarters or whatever to play these games anyway, so they're getting away with it because you just pay to get in and you can come in and play all their games. Pretty cool though. Interesting cabinet. Moon Patrol is there. We got Robotron, Q*bert, and these Vuelix cabinets. I think that's what they're called. Yes, I think it's Vuelix, but again, I don't know how I feel about these. I don't like Sanwa sticks anyway, or Japanese controls or buttons for the most part, but I tried to sit down and play a little bit of this. What's interesting is it is running Launchbox, and so the two cabinets, it's actually only two games, basically. Each cabinet is split, and the screen is split, and the controls all tie together. So you and a friend can sit there and play and don't have to be right on top of each other. Decent fighting game collection here, but once again, you get into that problem of it's not real apparent how to exit a game and reboot it, but still, it's cool they have it. Can't really complain. Like I said, it's not like you're paying to play it anyway. This was interesting. I think this appeared overnight. I went to this arcade the night before when I got into town just to check it out, and this game was not here as far as I know. And then I came back the next morning so I could get in there early and record the place, and I noticed this thing was here. And it's definitely another one running on Windows or whatever, as far as I can tell. But it's pretty cool. I tried to play some of it. It's one of those games you probably have a lot of people with to play to really make it fun. Never seen it before in my life, though. And we've got the huge pinball wall. I'm not even going to try to go through all of these. It's a pretty insane amount of pinball machines here, all on free play, by the way. Really cool of them to do that. These machines probably take a heck of a beating, and trying to keep them running must cost them a fortune, so I'm really happy that they don't charge you to play per play. Elvira down there. We got an NBA Showtime Blitz combo cabinet. I'm actually running something similar back there in my Blitz emulated machine. If I could only have one sports cabinet, like a real cabinet, I would go for this one, because I think that those are the two best of their genre, which would be Blitz 2000 and NBA Showtime. I think those are the two best of the whole series, and that's the one I would want. If I ever find a Blitz cabinet at a reasonable price, or even one of these at a reasonable price, I'll pick it up. We got a Food Fight cabinet, Dragon's Lair cabinet, Super Don Quixote. I played like 2 minutes of that. I've never really played that game before. We got the 6-player X-Men cabinet. This one's not in as good a shape as the one at the Houston Cidercade, but it's just art that's not in good shape, but it's still cool they have it. Track and Field right there, Tempest cabinet, Kicks cabinet. That one, what is that cabinet? Fruit Line? Oh, okay, I think I know that one. We got a Star Wars Trilogy stand-up cabinet. You almost never see the sit-downs anymore. Rampage World Tour cabinet. Not one I ever played enough of, but I tried a little bit while I was there. This cabinet, the Madden Season 2 football. I don't like this game. I don't think a lot of people like this game. I think this is one of the times where I thought, hey, let's bring the console into the arcade, when I think really people just wanted to play on the console. It's not a great game. It's not fun for arcades, I don't think. We got a Carnival cabinet, Rastan. I think that's what that said. Street Fighter 2 Turbo Edition. Tried to play that, but man, I'm terrible at Street Fighter. Is that Gyrus and Hypersports? And I'll show the Jumbo Safari later. This row of Nitro Trucks cabinet. I found this interesting because I just run into an Off-Road Thunder, and it really feels like a new Off-Road Thunder to me. We got Beast Busters. Never heard of that game, by the way. I tried to play it, but the way it was situated, the glare was a little much, so it was hard to really see what I was doing. But pretty interesting cabinet. It looks like it'd be a lot of fun, but something was wrong with it, or maybe I just couldn't see it well enough. In the Hunt, this is like a multiple... I've never seen this Namco Classic Collection personally. I don't know if this is a dedicated version or if it's a conversion. It almost looks like a big blue cabinet in a weird way, but it's not, I don't think. We got a Carnival King. Maybe you guys know and can let me know in the comments, what is a dedicated Carnival King cabinet? Is this it? Because I've seen multiple Carnival King cabinets and it didn't look the same. And by the way, I'm just noticing this, but I can't tell. Is this a screen instead of a light-up marquee? Maybe you guys know. I didn't really even notice that, but it almost looks like an image on a screen rather than a marquee image. We got a Tetris cabinet. Pretty cool looking Tetris cabinet, by the way. NBA Jam, the original. Fun game, but still kind of slow. And here's Gauntlet Legends. You guys know, if you've been watching the channel lately, I've been playing a decent amount of this on my Gameplay Monday series. This is a cabinet I always skipped in arcades. It was kind of almost intimidating to me, but it just looked like I needed to know way more than I did. And once I got older and started actually playing RPGs on consoles, then I was like, oh, I could play that game. It's pretty fun. And of course, next to that, we have the amazing Revolution X 2-player cabinet. God, I love that game. I would buy this cabinet if I found it at the right price, but it is a limited game. It kind of gets old quickly, but something about the cabinet is just cool, I think. Final Fight cabinet, big Burger Time, Dr. Mario, and we had a few others there. Let me go back really quick. One of those was actually another game that I'm starting to see more at these newer arcades, where it's Death Ball. It's actually a new arcade cabinet. I tried playing it. I don't really understand it. Maybe I need to give it more of a shot, probably. But I thought it was cool. It seems to be somebody's making new arcade cabinets these days outside of like the big, massive Raw Thrills companies and all those. And Mario Kart Arcade GP DX. I've never seen this in any other arcade. It's a fun game. I think it's the better of all of them, but I really like this, and it was a lot of fun to play with people. Actually, I think I played with strangers the night before because I just sat down and we all got linked together, but it was fun. It's a cool game. And I think here we're going to move into the... Oh, we have a Sunset Riders cabinet. We have a Cruisin' Blast cabinet. Those are always fun. They get old quickly, but man, it's just a really beautiful game, and it's a lot of fun to play, I think. And I like the rumble in the seat, all that classic stuff. House of the Dead 2 cabinet. And we got a Time Crisis 5. And a Seawolf. This is the new Seawolf cabinet. Kind of fun. I played it for a few minutes. Killer Queen, the game I don't ever know how to play because I never have enough people. Big Buck World. We've got the Jurassic Park sit-in machine, I should say, instead of sit-down machine, probably. Sit-in, those are cool. Ms. Pac-Man, Invasion the Abductors. So, I can't remember where I was, or maybe I saw it in a video. There are dedicated Invasion cabinets. I've never seen one in the wild, personally. It was in a video. I think Galloping Ghost had it, and Retro Ralph was there, and I was watching his walkthrough or something. And it's always a conversion cabinet, but this is a conversion cabinet, but that's the shape the cabinet should be. Invasion is one of those games that I want to like. I really do, and I try to like it, but it's kind of weird, you know? It's an odd cabinet. It's actually the only other game that runs on the Mortal Kombat 4 arcade hardware, which, you know, you could probably see it behind me here. So you could take an Invasion the Abductors board and convert it to an MK4 board, and vice versa, but it's part of the reason I think the emulation for MK4 and Invasion is not great yet, because nobody cares that much, I guess, enough about those two games to really perfect the emulation. We've got a Bust-A-Move cabinet. Those are always fun. Metal Slug 5, Terminator 2. So the poor monitor had some tough days there. It needs a little rejuvenation probably, but it's such an iconic game. I don't like it as much as Revolution X. I know some people will hate me for that, but it's just not one I'm that excited about. We got a Power Drift to the right there, a Tron cabinet. I've never seen so many Tron cabinets until now. It's like they all just came out of the woodwork, and they're starting to put them in arcades. We got a Road Blasters. That's an old one. Police Trainer 2, another one that I never saw when it was back in the day. Mini Golf, I don't know what to think of that game. I tried it recently again, and it's not for me. Centipede, my dad's arcade game right there. My dad is like a Centipede wizard. If I could get one, I would love to buy him one. I've been always looking, and when they pop up, they're quite expensive, but I would love to get him one. I think that would be really cool, and then I could, you know, present my dad with the arcade cabinet. The only one, as far as I know, he ever cared about. He was really good at it. He used to draw a crowd, my mom always said, but My dad's in a wheelchair now, not permanently, but he can't stay on his feet very long. His knees have trouble. His ankle's injured from a car accident years ago, and I just want to get him something like this. Like, I actually thought about the tabletop arcade one up, but it's an 8-inch screen, and my dad's old. He's not going to be able to see that screen, so anyway. We'll figure it out one of these days. My mom may kill me if I bring him something like that anyway, because he's going to crank the volume to the max and annoy everybody. Got a tube-in cabinet in Lost World, the old school Lost World Jurassic Park. And here's where they, I guess, make their cider. I don't know if you brew cider. I like their cider personally. I don't drink alcohol much, but if you go to Cidercade, try out their ciders. I thought they were really good. They have a fruity taste. It's not real heavy on the alcohol. You're not going to get trashed unless you have a ton of it, but I like it. We got 2 Guitar Hero arcades side by side here. And a Star Wars Racer arcade. I don't think I've ever seen this combo cabinet anywhere but at this Cidercade location. And when I was there, suddenly a guy started servicing it. I don't think anything was wrong with it that I could see, but they had a guy working on it. Got a Gunblade and an Ocean Hunter, I believe. 2 games I'm not that into. Tried to get into them, can't get into them. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the new cabinet, another game I kind of blew off. Like, screw this, this is one of those new games, quarter munching machine. But when it's on free play, it's actually kind of a fun game. I think the turtles look oddly proportioned, but I enjoyed playing it when I did try it out. Dead Sea Pirate Special Edition is one that I've never played. I didn't even get in it here. I think it had a bunch of kids in it. Then we got some kids games here, but surprisingly fun kids games. Throw the ball, knock stuff down. It's on free play. Got a football game where you throw it through the hole, which apparently I'm terrible at. Tried a few times to be good at that. Couldn't really nail stuff. Oh, it's not the hole. You hit the targets that are like right here. Still, oh, and this Step Mania game, that's weird. I don't know how I feel about that one. Fighting Arena. So this is probably an aftermarket build that somebody put together that maybe works for them, I assume. I would love it if somebody from Cidercade ever saw these videos and could answer some questions for me, because I have like a trillion questions about Cidercade. Like, for one, as a company, how do you seem to own almost 1,000 arcade games? You have to be one of the biggest collectors outside of Galloping Ghost, I would imagine. But anyway, fighting game here. I'm sorry, Fighting Arena, generic. Because it seemed to be running emulation and you could change the games. And I don't remember what games it had in it, but still kind of cool. Satan's Hollow. This one, I was too young for this game, but never really played it anyway. We got a Nintendo Play Choice, Cuphead. Cuphead is another one, as you can see, if you look closely, that is a launch box screen, big box screen, I should say. And it's running emulation, because I don't think Cuphead was ever a game anyway. Not in arcades, at least, but they made a cabinet for it, and it looks pretty cool, I think. Donkey Kong Jr. cabinet versus Excitebike, and we've got a Super Mario Brothers here. The screen looks weird because of the camera picking it up funny. Donkey Kong 1, Donkey Kong 2 cabinet, Wind Jammers, I thought it said Tamers for a second. Gravitar, cool cabinet. Marvel vs. Capcom 2 cabinet, and we've got a kind of big blue cabinet. I don't know, it looks like a big blue, but I think it was painted different. Maybe I'm misremembering. It's been a couple weeks now. Running Street Fighter 2. What is that game? RBI. Okay, so Top Gun. Hold on a second. We got to stop here at Top Gun. Was this a cabinet that they made? I've never seen this cabinet before. I assume it's a real arcade because it didn't seem to be just running the NES version of Top Gun. So maybe it is, and I've just never seen it before. Let me know in the comments. We've got Gumshoe. I guess that's a detective game of some sort. I don't know. Here we go. We got Mortal Kombat 1 in a dedicated cabinet still. It's a little faded on the side art. And then we have Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 in an MK2 cabinet. The only issue I had with these, I played a lot of these while I was there. I beat MK1 and 3, actually. And MK1, the difficulty must have been ramped way up. I struggled to beat that game. But one issue I have is they're right by this window that you could see here, and it's like if you're not there at night, it's just glare coming in on these screens, so it's hard to see them. Wait, what does that say? Fright Fearland. That's one I've never seen. I've seen the other version. I think it's a Swarm cabinet, or they have multiple versions where they use this cabinet and they just change the games out, I guess. I played a few minutes of it. Some kids were playing it while I was there, and they were screaming their heads off. I don't know if it was truly a scary game to them or what, but it was like I was getting a headache and I had to get away from them. I obviously don't have any kids, right? Jumbo Safari, I've seen that game, never really played it much. Okay, so I came back to the Crash Insane Trilogy here, and you can see at the top, you can see the Windows window up there, and it's just, it's definitely just, I don't think it's an arcade game of any kind, but still cool. The Reset game, I can't remember if that actually worked or not, but I like that they made this. I'm not complaining or anything. And maybe they didn't make it. Maybe you guys will know something I don't know about this. But as far as I can tell, it's just running the Windows version of the Insane Trilogy, and they made a pretty cool looking cabinet for it. Alright guys, well that's it for this walkthrough. I hope you enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this kind of video. I know some of you probably bail out after the initial walkthrough, but going back through it, and we can talk about stuff. You guys can teach me about some stuff that I don't know. Maybe, like, as you saw, I didn't know a couple of those games, so you guys can leave me stuff in the comments letting me know things I don't know. There's definitely gaps in my arcade knowledge. If you know anything about me, watch the channel. I've spent way more time on Midway arcade games. My local arcade was predominantly loaded with Midway games when I think back to it. So that's probably why I don't know a ton about Japanese games or the older games before I was even into arcades. I really didn't start going to arcades until the early 90s when Mortal Kombat 1 released. That got me into arcades all the time after that. So fill in the knowledge gaps for me in the comments. I would appreciate it. If you guys are ever in the Dallas area, please check out Cidercade. I love supporting these businesses, these small, I don't want to call them small arcades. These are starting to be massive arcades that they're opening. But they're well maintained for the most part. I rarely have problems with games there. And the employees are always friendly when I show up. The drinks are good. If you're under 18, you could still get in. I'm sorry, under 21. You could still get in, but you have to leave after 8 p.m. if you're under 21. And I've never been there after 8 o'clock at night, now that I think about it. I wonder if it's less busy, but either way, get there when they open. If you don't want a ton of people there, 10 o'clock in the morning, you'll be able to have pretty much free roam of the place for at least an hour or so. And my plan is to probably host my first ever channel meetup at one of the Cidercade locations. I'm still deciding which one I want to do, but I'm going to give you guys the word on that really soon. So if you're new to the channel, you want to hang out at the arcade with some people, like-minded people like myself and the people who watch my channel who may show up, give me a subscribe so you don't miss that notification of when I'm actually going to do this meetup. I'm going to do my best to give you guys at least 1 month's notice so you can plan it out. So if you're coming from out of town, you'll know when I'm going to be there, and I'll keep you guys posted on all that. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.